At the start of the century, there was this high-level meeting at Land Rover because not a lot of people were actually buying their cars. They needed something fresh, they needed something new, and even with all their heritage and patronage from people like Princess Diana, not a lot of people, especially young people, were buying their car. Now, they had a new Range Rover on the way, but they wanted something to attract a younger demographic. So somebody woke up and said, let's just put a sport badge at the back and maybe that'll attract the youth. But then somebody else had a bright idea and said, no, we are Land Rover. We're the people who invented the SUV. So let's put the sport back in the sport utility vehicle. And thus was born the Range Rover Sport. Now that was 17 years ago, but today we've got the Generation 3 Range Rover Sport. And god damn it, doesn't it look bloody pretty? Okay, fellas, listen. Since this car behind us is actually aimed at some people like us, well, not us, by me, I mean a much richer version of us 35, 40-year-olds, I'm going to be very quick because we 35, 40-year-olds don't really have a very long retention span anymore. We want things quick. So let me start with the wheels, because wheels are what I love about a car. Now, these are 22s. 22s. Incidentally, I like 22-inch wheels because I was born on 22nd of a certain month. I'm not going to say which month, but the funny thing is this isn't the largest wheel you can get on a Sport. You can get a 23. That's Urus territory right there. 23-inch wheels on a normal sort of family-oriented SUV. That's crazy, but that's not the only cool thing. Okay, let's get up. Look at the overall design. It's much nicer. Oh, by the way, it's also much larger than before, and it weighs slightly less than I do, probably. But look at the other bits and pieces. Look at the tail lights. Now, on the normal Range Rover, you get these sort of hidden away tail lights. Here you don't. You can see the tail lights. I would have liked a blacked out design. That would have looked a much nicer, much cooler sort of design. But again, it's all minimalistic, and that's what Range Rover has actually gone for on the Sport. Huge, gigantic spoiler as well. Really pandering to that Sport name, isn't it? And you know what else is pandering to the Sport name? Those aren't fake. Those are actual real exhausts. I'm not going to put my hand in. Oh well, there's water in there, but I'm not going to put my hand in. But they're real. They're not fake tips like the other manufacturers do. But main thing, come here. You see this? It's still in your face, and that's what's cool about a Range Rover Sport. Now, in terms of powertrains, you get two options too, a petrol and a diesel. Petrol, of course, 400 horsepower, diesel 350. But the magic figure in the diesel, and honestly, that's the one we might actually have because a car this big probably deserves a diesel engine. But as I said, the magic figure with the diesel, wait for it, 700 gigantic Newton meters of torque. That's enough to spin the earth in the opposite direction if you launch the car too hard. Okay, now just like with the outside, the inside too is minimalistic. That's what they've really gone for. Now, they've not gone for a minimalistic approach, which is crazy, which has just screens and nothing else. So everything turns like glossy black when you shut the car off. They still have a few knobs and touch points here, which are great because for stuff like climate control, you really need a knob to sort of quickly adjust the temperature and stuff like that. So you've got the climate control knobs, you've got the off-road settings, you've got the volume control knob, and then of course you've got the big giant knob sitting in the driver's seat. Now, the driver's seat itself is sort of lower down as compared to a Range Rover. So while in the Range Rover, the standard Range Rover, the big boy Range Rover, you sit up top a little bit more higher, a little bit more stately. In this, you sit slightly lower. The dashboard is slightly raised up. You still feel slightly sporty, if you know what I mean. Overall, of course, it's a tech fest of gigantic proportions, both literally and figuratively. You've got this massive screen here. It's huge, it's like an iPad Pro stuck to the dashboard, but it's not just flat, it's curved to sort of go along with the design language of the whole dashboard as well. And then you've got a great instrument cluster. And then of course you've got the camera in the rear view mirror, which is great. And I'm going to adjust it so that my OCD doesn't go crazy. But you also have multiple sort of color options on the interior. So you've got this tan, you've got a beige, and you've got like a dark red, and you've got a black. So you can really choose what you want. You can make it your own. But then if you are, say, a vegan, or you don't want to have leather, or if you have religious reasons why you don't want to have leather in the car, then you can opt for a cloth interior as well. And honestly, if you have the kind of money to buy a Range Rover Sport and you don't get that cloth interior, I'm gonna hunt you down and take away your car. Okay? I'm gonna do that. Right. Nonetheless, again, just a very, very nice place to be. Now, if you don't want to drive your Range Rover Sport, which I don't see why you wouldn't, and you want to sit in the back seat, if say you are somebody from Bollywood and you want to sort of avoid the gaze and pictures, then this is a great place to be as well, because realize the wheelbase on this is the exact same as a standard wheelbase Range Rover. So why do you buy a normal Range Rover anymore? Well, I don't get it. Anyways, this is now a longer car in terms of the wheelbase. So that means you have more space in the rear seat as well. And also means that the car overall, because it's longer, you've got a lot larger boot. Okay, so boot opening, and a couple of cool things I want to talk about here, right? Normally I don't do this, but I think it's important. Now, if you want to say move something gigantic and big and bulky, you can do it very easily in your Range Rover Sport by folding the seats down electronically. Although I don't see why you would, because you own a Range Rover Sport, so you probably have other vehicles to do that sort of, well, plebby stuff for you. But the interesting thing, and this actually makes a difference because people do make their buying decisions on it, the spare wheel in this will be a full-size spare wheel. So if you get a 20-inch wheel for your RR Sport, you can get a 20-inch wheel as a spare wheel. And if you buy the big boy 23 on your Range Rover Sport, you get a full-size big boy 23-inch wheel, the same wheel that's on your car as your spare tire. But if you want to say sit on the back and have a picnic, you can use this button and lower the car as well. Let's lower it down. Let's wait. All the way down. Let's go all the way down, even more. And then you can sit on the back here and have a picnic, or you can have some nice influencer shots taken, looking into the distance, into nothing. Good shots? Good shots. Okay, so would I buy one? Of course I'd buy one if I had the money. Yes, because even though it is expensive and starts at well over $1.5 crore for the base model, the entry-level version, it's still a cool car. Range Rover Sports have always been cool cars. This is no exception. But the funny thing is, or the cool thing is, I think I should get one because it matches my shoes.